Well, listeners, as you know, the new John Wick Chapter 4 film is about to be released, and one of the things that's happened this time around with the film is that there's been some very special posters made up right around the world, and one of those posters is actually from Australian artist Ken Taylor. Now, we thought we would actually get Ken on the phone today to talk a little bit about these amazing posters he's included. I've got it in front of me right now, and it looks amazing. So, Ken, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So, Ken, tell us a little bit about how you came to do a poster for John Wick Chapter 4.
Well, a lot of what I do is sort of limited silk screen artwork for a lot of touring bands and sort of like the entertainment industry slash pop culture sort of scene. So I had a kind of an existing relationship with Lionsgate. Have a little sort of, I guess, like a little boutique side thing where they make kind of steelbook artwork for some of their movies. Steelbooks are sort of like DVD cases with sort of specialized alternative artwork on them, and they use a lot of artists from the kind of alternative poster scene to create that art. So that relationship kind of with them led to those guys wanting to do something special for this release. So they got a bunch of artists from around the world, and it sort of came out like this. I think they were going for the whole sort of rather than just sort of usually using the artists that they use all the time, they kind of did go a little bit further out. I guess because the film itself spans different countries, and so it all sort of fits together really nicely. The artwork's so varied as well from the different artists. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So how did you approach the project after they told you what they wanted you to do? How did you approach it? Because were you already a fan of John Wick, or how do you approach something like that when you're given a task like this?
Well, I'd seen the first two. I hadn't at that point seen the third one. So straight away I watched the third one, and then they got me like an unedited version of the fourth one. So I watched that, which was like, it was almost 5 hours long or something. So it's a bit of a slog. It was certainly great in terms of, enabling me to sort of, focus on certain elements of the film, which, led to the kind of artistic sort of style direction of the image. There's so much going on in the John Wick universe in terms of its stylistic kind of iconography that sort of pops up throughout the film, and lots of things are linked together in this kind of giant universe. So it's a lot of fun to play with in terms of trying to come up with an image.
Yeah.
And then it was basically just come up with a rough, and then that was sent to the John Wick team, including Keanu, I believe. He had to sign off on it as well. And then, it went from there. So, they were really kind of just allowed us to do kind of what we wanted to do, really. There wasn't a lot of restraints put on us. It's just sort of watch the film, get inspired, and do something. So,
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. You mentioned about roughs. As a writer, I always do a rough draft of everything, and some of those rough drafts end up in the bin and never see the light of day. Did the design that we see now, was that your original design, or did you change it a few times going through with roughs and not liking things and changing it? How do you go about that process?
This one was really, like, the end result was actually pretty close to the original rough in terms of, obviously one looks a lot more polished, but it was kind of my original idea had him, it was sort of based on an image that they sent through where he was looking down a lot more. So there's a version of this where he's pretty much a completely finished version actually, where he's looking towards the ground a little more. We ended up changing it so he had a little more, not direct eye contact with the viewer, but sort of, was in the kind of the ballpark. I had also done another version where he's looking straight on as well. So there's actually 3 finished versions of his portrait. So I'm hoping that they can be used later on for something else, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, but it's all sort of part of the process. Yeah, the end result, they were cool with it and everyone was happy. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on.
Now, I always get a little bit embarrassed if I see one of my review quotes used on a poster. How do you feel when you're driving around and you see one of your posters up somewhere? Do you feel embarrassed, or do you feel kind of proud that your artwork is out there for everybody to see?
No, I definitely get a kick out of it. Like many moons ago when I sort of ended up getting into this kind of gig poster scene, that was one of the things I really loved about it. Like that it was a great way to have your art seen by, potentially millions of people, really, by the time it gets online. I guess in terms of seeing it on a wall or like a billboard or whatever, the sort of stuff that I do rarely reaches that point. It's kind of more sold, like with the gig posters, for example. The band usually hires me to do work for them, and they're sold at the show as a kind of a limited edition sort of boutique element, rather than being used to advertise the show or whatever. So you can kind of be way more creative because you're not necessarily worried about selling it.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with the alternative poster sort of scene. It's not necessarily about the movie title has to be this big and it's got to be at the top, not the bottom, and we need to feature these 3 characters and there has to be a hierarchy between this one and that one and so on. Like all of that is kind of thrown out the window with this sort of stuff, and you just kind of get to be creative and riff off the music or the context of the film or whatever. Yeah.
Ken, I have to ask, what advice would you give to young artists out there who are thinking about following in your footsteps? Do you have any advice for them at all?
It's just really to keep on trucking. Like it's kind of like my sort of I hate using the word journey, but the sort of story behind me is that it's like a really long one, like a sort of and a lot of luck involved with me being around certain scenes at the right time and so on and so forth. But it's really just about putting hard work in and realizing goals and working towards them, and just sort of if you're going to do something that you're passionate about, you may as well make it like a proper passion. Like really throw everything into it. Don't do anything half-assed. Because it's a pretty lucky, privileged kind of job to have, creating fun artwork for fun jobs.
Yeah.
I just think realize your dreams or your goals and work as hard as you can to kind of get there. I don't really have any pearls of wisdom other than hard work, and that's about it really.
Definitely. Well, Ken, I know you've got another interview to get to, so I won't keep you for very long, but thank you so much for chatting to us today. And I know you've probably signed some kind of embargo where you can't say too much, but should all of us John Wick fans be excited about the new film, seeing you're one of the only people in the world that's seen it so far?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, I saw a very, 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 very long version of it, but yeah, even though it was pre-edit, it was amazing. I mean, I'd say it's probably my favorite of the four, actually. So yeah, if you're a diehard John Wick fan, I think you're gonna love it. It's yeah, it's an amazing film. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the finished product because I bet it's a lot different to what I actually saw. But what I saw was awesome. So it's got amazing fight scene choreography in it. It's just mind blowing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Well, Ken, thank you so much.
I don't want to say too much more.
Well, Ken, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute honour having you on the show. And if all our listeners out there want to see some more of Ken's work as well, we're going to put a little link up to his website on our website at subcultureentertainment.com. So go and check out all of Ken's artwork, including his John Wick poster as well. Ken, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute honour having you on the show.
Yeah, no worries. If anyone wants to see more of it, also the Instagram is at Ken Taylor Art as well. So yeah, go check it out.